I've been staying up late streaming, doing all the trying to make it go this professional streamer thing, and I've been watching old movies as my wind down. So tonight I started the first Iron Man movie again last night, and I'm almost finished with it. And I forgot. I mean, I clearly huge Iron Man fan, right? Like we've counted how many Iron Man dongers on the back of the stream. But
on average two.
On average, at least two. But I forgot how really rewatching it. It's just a very, very good movie. I can see why the cornerstone of Marvel is built on it because it's so strong, as opposed to Batman does Superman.
That was such a disappointing movie.
It was so bad. I only bring it up because again I'm watching the good one, the really great movie that's the keystone of the universe, and literally like yesterday you were tweeting about how bad Batman vs Superman was.
God, like it just would have been so much better if
the editing was different.
If the editing was different.
I think there's a good movie in there. It's just, it really is the editing and the pacing is just totally wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, I agree. I feel like there is a good movie somewhere in there, but with the exception of Wonder Woman and the Christopher Nolan first two Batman movies, everything that they've done is just dog shit.
So I've said this for a really long time. I don't know if I've said it on this show. Watchmen. I don't know if I said it on this show, but DC is the king of animated movies.
Yes.
And they are terrible at everything else.
Yes.
They just are so bad. I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman is like the exception that proves the rule, because Wonder Woman was very nearly, in my opinion, the best movie of last year. It's so close. If it wasn't for if you haven't seen Wonder Woman by now, you guys are in the wrong. Just go watch it. But with the exception of the climax of the movie, and really the climax of the movie is like, what, 6 minutes long, maybe?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that particular climactic fight at the end of the movie, if you take that out and imagine a good ending, then the entire movie is completely flawless. There is no complaints you can have about Wonder Woman except for that 6-minute fight at the end of the movie.
But I like the 6-minute fight.
It looks cool. It looks cool. I will give you that, but it's terrible.
It wasn't needed.
Well, it was needed. You needed some sort of way to conclude and wrap up that movie, but how that fight went and some of the language used inside of it is just, it makes no sense for the other part of the movie.
Yeah, well, see, like,
I hate to tell you this, but Travis, if somebody told us that we were brothers, I wouldn't be, and we were fighting about something, I wouldn't call you brother in like the first 15 seconds after finding out that you're my brother.
True. Okay. Like, I'd still call you like whatever I already knew you by.
Right. And if I had been around for, say, 10,000 years and I have the ability to like teleport around at will, you pretty much wouldn't be able to beat me in a fight.
Yeah, especially if I didn't have any powers yet. Or at least I didn't know what they were.
Yes. Anyway, this is not a podcast about comic book movies, although we could do one. We should do a special. We should go 2 Trolls and a Brew. No magic this week. All comic book movies, but not this week.
2 Trolls and a Brew. Why your comic movie sucked.
This week, episode 120, not 210, 120, Lobstermen and Other Trolls. Subtitle this week, No. I just have to say this one little programming note. I'm pretty sure next month when Dominera comes out, Red Lobster's got an all-new feast for $9.99. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be fresh baked hominids. Just think about it. You order one fish man, feeds the whole table of 12. Can I get some claw with that? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited. We didn't talk about the spoiler drop that happened last week because we didn't get a show up last week because it took me 2 weeks to get basically the show we recorded last up because our host was having all sorts of problems. Twitch, I want to say sorry about that. Sorry about that. There's just nothing I can do. They were having issues with their certificate, and it didn't matter if I whitelisted them. It didn't matter what browser I used. When I finally was able to like ninja my way onto their server, they couldn't upload a file. I tried redoing the MP3 like 5 or 6 times at lower and lower quality just to try to get a file up there, and it wouldn't take. So sorry about that. But I don't know. I'm still waiting for them to reimburse me my $4.99 for the month hosting. Technically, the hosting was still there. I just couldn't upload anything. So maybe they'll just. I'll accept $2.99 discount back.
What if they just don't charge you for next month?
That'd be fine too. There's very little that irritates me more in the world when I decide that I'm ready to get some work done and I can't do it because of some outside force. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty good at procrastinating and not doing something for quite a while. So then when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to knock this out right now. And it's like, oh, but there's no internet. Or, oh, the power's off. Or, oh, your fingers don't exist anymore. You lost them in Nom. You're like, ah, curse you.
What? Where'd this iguana come from?
Exactly.
That'd be trippy.
Shall we just go into troll cards for the week? Are you ready?
Sure.
Are you ready for an actual show?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't really spoken in 2 weeks. I know there's a lot going on. Like,
I sent you that sweet photo.
You did. I don't know if I have that up right here. I could pull it up.
It was on the phone because I don't have anything else.
Oh, that's right. That would be why I don't have it, because I looked at the Facebook log and not the text message log. I have a sweet photo for you. Sent in by a listener.
Mm-hmm.
They want to share their sweet pools of oh, that's right. I forgot it doesn't like to do it like that. Move this over here for now.
I was about to say your screen froze.
Yeah, it doesn't like it when I do that. Sweet pools from Masters 25.
Fuck that guy.
Oh. You'll have to hit the show notes or the YouTube video to see that one, guys.
God.
He sent me that, and I was like, I presume this is meant for Travis, and they're like, yep. Please, I don't have a way to get a hold of him directly. Please send that to him. Oh, it was so good.
That's fair.
So my troll card this week, I'm looking for this picture. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up in an easy way as well. This is going to get a little trippy. You want to give me the story for this real fast? What is this? What's this?
So we were playing a game of Modern, and the dude I was playing against, he was playing his Sultai. I don't know what it was. Just a Sultai deck, right? And he played Tireless Tracker, played a fetch land, got the clue, and then cracked it for another clue. And we were just looking around. It's like, oh crap, we don't have any clue tokens. I was like, dude, just use the stack of rares over there from your M25 box. He just grabs two rares out and it happened to be the Recruiter and Rashad Port. So those right there are clue tokens.
So the clue tokens are approximately what, 110,
Approximately.
115?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. Have other than winning, have you opened any box or any packs or anything?
From M25?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So
Remington won a couple of packs for draft last week, or sealed rather, and he opened two. They were junk, but I
so
know. Oh, go
I
ahead.
did play in 2 draft events, but one of them was because uh somebody wanted, M25, and he's like, dude, if you'll draft, I'll pay for it. And I'm like, okay, but I want the Savannah Lions. He goes, what? Like, yeah, just give me Savannah Lions and we'll be good. And he's like, damn it, Travis, why? Why do you do this? Like, no, that's all I want. So he paid for my draft and I got a foil Savannah Lion. And then went to his house on Sunday night because he was having a draft party because, hey, new product. He wanted to draft with it. So I did draft those 2 times. And I will say that it is an incredibly fun draft format, but I'm not going to pay $30 to draft, 35, whatever they charged. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. One, I've learned a couple of things this last week. Um, I have got to be much more careful when I'm at the shop talking about product, because I'm not a huge fan of the contents of the set as it is for me out for constructed purposes, but I
Mm-hmm.
do think it would be quite fun to draft, right? But there's a very hefty concern that there might be a slight issue with case mapping, just a little bit.
There is.
Um, I mean, I'm trying to make it seem way smaller than it probably is, like a teeny
No,
tiny chance.
it's
Um,
about 75%.
yeah, I mean, almost zero in the grand scheme of things. Like it's basically completely random.
No.
And I had mentioned, I was talking to my boss about it. I'm like, I didn't see any cases sitting out. I just saw one case on the floor. So I go, hey, are we basically out already? Do we sell everything except for this last case? And he goes, no, not yet. And I said, oh, well, it's a shame because I hear it's kind of bad. And he just like, what? I'm like, with the mapping and being able to figure out the cards and stuff like that, and people aren't buying stuff because of the thing. And I go, because we got to take some time to do some rotating and stuff like that. Whoa, did I get a lecture? I got a lecture. But he had another guy there who bought a case, and he had saved his various boxes right from the case that Todd opened, and the guy was going through his case and was able to match like one box. I think was 6 out of the 25 cards, which seemed fair, and then another one I think was like 8 out of the same cards. And then he hit the money box that matched Todd's 12 for 12.
Yep.
And it was like, oh my goodness. So it's a little weird, if
Uh,
you're buying cases like that to kind of have something like that happen. But
so what we've noticed personally in our store locally, it's about 75% accurate for the rares and about 40% for the mythics. But, the foils are obviously just completely on a whole different level of no, there's no way you can predict that.
yeah,
But like and like I've been watching videos of it on YouTube, and these guys, they opened up boxes from 2 different distributors, and it came out to about 55-60% of the same rares. It's just like,
I I think one, we have to keep in mind that Wizards of the Coast have only been doing this for 25 years, and they invented the technology. So clearly, there's still bugs in the system, in the process, that that you can't just magically fix with 25 years of practice and or doing it, 4 sets a year for 25 years. So clearly no fault on WotC's part at all for any of this. But we have to also keep in mind that why the rares there's definitely a strong correlation. And when we were opening things that affect me more than, say, like the rares in the case or whatever, is that just going down the line of packs, the uncommon runs were super repeatable. Right? So, like, for example, the guy was opening packs, and he was paying attention to the rare, but I was looking for the uncommons because, again, as a drafter, those are the things that I try to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, at least every 3 packs, there was the first one you opened, then you get a different one, you'd get a different one, and then you get the first run over again. If you're just going down the packs in order from left to right. So to me, that's important, right? Because if you're sitting there drafting off of a fresh case, holy crap, language, words, out.
You did it.
Oh my God. It's like dragging lead or something. Anyhow, if you're drafting from a fresh box and you left to right, you're going through things, it gives you a really good idea of what people might have at the table and what's going around.
Yeah.
And it really is almost an unfair advantage at that point. So you really have to mix those packs up. But that, to me, was the most damning thing, is that it just seemed like about every 2 or 3 packs, 4 packs later would be a repeat, and you could basically guarantee that. It was crazy. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are really upset. But every time I look at MTG stocks, the expected value of the thing is up. I did a thing on Monday, and it was up to 190. And on Friday, it was like 180. So let me see what it is right now, because I'm just curious. If we were to go buy a box, what is the current, as of Wednesday the 21st? What is the current estimated value of a box? According to them, it is down to 188 is the average price. So yeah, at $200 a box, you're still probably barely breaking even.
Yeah.
And the spike is the real thing. The spike, if you open something sweet, on average, your average spike is going to jump to $860.
At the EV?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's...
Because the money cards are so money.
Right, but at the same time, the garbage cards are so garbage.
Well, the low average is 123.
Yeah, like, okay, so have you seen any of the postings from like different stores throughout the U.S. who have the Tree of Redemption promise?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there was like, I saw it personally from like 5-6 different stores throughout the U.S. So there could have been way more, but those were just the ones that like got to the main like Twitter feed, that they were doing a Tree of Redemption promise where if you were drafting or you opened one like out of prize support or something, or like you bought a pack and you opened a Tree of Redemption as your rare slot, that they would give you store credit, because that's such a bullshit thing.
Yeah, Todd, my owner, never plays Magic. He's never played Magic one time, and stuff like that. And he was really disappointed by some of the low value cards, because again, in his mind, this is a special low run print run of a low run product, and he wants to, he knows how to make some dollars.
Yeah.
and he understands what it is for a card to be good quality, in demand, need a reprint, and then like Tree of Redemption was the first card he named of the crap cards.
Yep.
Just like, I don't know what they were thinking. A lot of the cards, when you look at them, you're like, yeah, you know what? That's maybe not a card that I'm going to latch on to because it's not necessarily a commander card, but at least I know what it is. Right? Or at least I'm going to have some idea what it is. But when he's like, yeah, this card, this card, this card, this card, this card, all crap. I don't know why they put them in there. I'm just like, now I know that somebody's paying attention because your successes get pointed out and your failures get pointed out twice.
Yep.
So I don't know. Hopefully Wizards will learn from this. But again, this has been a problem really bad for the last, I don't know, on again, off again, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
They end up screwing up the masking somehow. They end up screwing up the packaging somehow. They change the card stock so things are not the same quality, not the same thickness, whatever. And then they end up printing cards or reprinting cards either too often, too soon, or
not the right ones.
They pick terrible ones to reprint. And I mean, to me, not to just sit here and harp on Wizards the whole time, because I think the majority of the time they do a pretty good job. And, as a species, we evolve to look at the negative side because that's what better keeps us alive. Right?
Yeah.
Worrying about the negative is what gets us through the winter, as opposed to, oh, look at all the overabundance in the summer. Yay! So pointing out and picking on the negatives is something that we've evolved to do. We're born to kind of figure out. So this is something that they should look at, see how many people are outraged, and fix it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I imagine nothing. Will happen. But I hope so. Troll cards. We're almost there.
We made it, you guys.
We made it. We did it. For me, I picked out of the new set a new card, Saproling Migration.
Okay.
You know what this card is? Basically, it is a sorcery speed make 2 green Saprolings, but it has a kicker of 4 that lets you make 4 tokens instead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not quite as busted as like the buyback one with Convoke, but for 5 mana, you can get 4 Saprolings over 4 bodies. That's actually pretty good. So it's good in the early game. It's good in the mid game. Oftentimes, 4 bodies is just worth it. And maybe, knock on some wood here, maybe Saprolings are going to matter. Because it looks like this tribal stuff is going to be important. So making 4 Saprolings, I have high hopes for. This is the exact kind of spell that I think it's a common even. It's hard to tell with this new symbol in my mind from the picture. But yeah, that's the common. So the white is the common symbol. Which is the exact right kind of card that you want to draft, in my opinion. If you end up with like 4 of these in your deck, in your draft deck, then they're going to be great on turn 2. They're going to be amazing on turn 6. So that's what I look for in a spoiler card. What do I want in the drafts? Especially something that other people are going to overlook until they get beat by it 4 or 5 times.
Right.
So, go ahead.
Is that all you had?
Well, I was just going to point out this one other spoiler that as soon as you beat someone with Saproling real hard soon, you're going to want to be the guy who also keeps an eye out for Goblin Chain Whirlers. This is a 3-mana 3/3 first striker that when it enters the battlefield, it does 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control when it enters the battlefield. So as soon as you beat somebody with those Saprolings, you better be on the lookout for this guy.
Yep.
Or if you know that there's one of these floating around your table, you'd better better avoid the sapling deck unless you have the +1/+1 or something. But that was it. That's all I got. I got very little else. What do you think? You said you looked at none of the spoiler, correct?
Yeah, I looked at absolutely zero of them because, well, I've been busy not caring.
Well, I mentioned when we were talking about the show to start with here, according to MTG Salvation, 152 out of 269 of the cards are currently spoiled, or you know what I mean, estimated to be spoiled, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's including things like all of the rest of the buddy lands, and then stuff like that. But there was a leak of like the Russian, what was it? The Russian rules, the FQA, the thing that kind of comes out with a set describing how certain things work. So we have the mechanics that we could talk about if you wanted. And we have a bunch of the cards, like they get used as examples.
So my question here is, why is it that everyone except for you is claiming that it's Chinese?
I thought it was Russian.
Everyone that I know is like, oh, it's Chinese.
I don't know. I think I saw Olive tweet that it was Russian, and when I mean, it could be Chinese. I don't know, but I remember thinking I didn't look any of these up before today. The only reason I bother to look for things like spoilers and stuff like that is when we get ready to do this show. So when I had last week, when I saw it, the only person that I saw that had tweeted anything even remotely about it was Olive. And then I was like, what? Big spoiler? And I started Googling around a little bit. And I think I translated one card from Russian. So that's the reason I thought it was for a Russian distributor. But the actual people who did it, I have no idea. It could be whoever. I don't know. Who wants to take WotC down? Is it the Russians? Is it the Germans? Is it the Yu-Gi-Oh players? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's hacking Wizards of the Coast and why? Facebook wants to know.
Anyways, I got a pretty sweet troll card.
Hit me, Daddy-O.
It's the Avon Wind Guide. Your tokens have flying and vigilance.
Oh my god, that thing beat my arse at the PPTQ a couple of weeks ago.
So when we do drafts, we do our drafts in cycles, so that way nobody gets tired of the same format, and it's like that way people keep showing up, and because Monday night is draft, it always is. So 2 weeks ago, no, it was a week ago, we did I guess when they're doing the 4-packs, it's called Dino Size Draft or whatever. But we did a dino-sized semi-chaos where we decided that all of the packs would be from the Shadows over Innistrad block or Amonkhet. But you could pick any 4 that you wanted. And I picked 4 Amonkhet ones because, well, I really like the cards in there, and oh no, it's a fun format.
You just want to say, here, kitty, kitty, I know.
Yeah. So we were drafting it, and I'm like, okay, there's... God, I can't even remember what rare was. Oh, it was Mouth to Feed. So I had Mouth to Feed and Avon Wind Guide. I was like, you know what? This card's really fun to play with. So I just went ahead and selected it. And then I basically just built a token deck from the Shadows block and Amonkhet. And it just turned out amazing.
Well, I suppose super fast while we're kind of talking about this. If you open up a gold card, normally they tell you in draft not to pick a gold card because you basically lock yourself into 2 colors.
Yeah.
However, there are some gold cards that are so powerful that if you take it early and you build around it as your focus, not only does it does in fact lock you into two colors, but it can give you a really good, guiding light, as it were, to hone in what your deck wants to do. So you pick a card like what you picked, and you start taking every great token card, and it can just give you a clarity of focus that a lot of drafts you don't get until pick 8 or 9. Where you try to figure out your seat and then draft that deck. Well, instead, you're just like, no, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to open my first pack. I'm going to evaluate those things. And, laser beam focus.
Yep.
And it's a gamble. Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. But it sounds like for you it did.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think the odd or your stats are on that happening? Because that's how you like to draft.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the odds are obviously low, but when...
Are the highs high?
Yeah, well, and not even that, but like in Amonkhet, when you have a bunch of like Embalm and Eternalize things, and then when there's the Shadows block, which also has certain aspects of token creation. I mean, there wasn't a lot, but there was some.
Oh, there's a lot of really good ones, though. The ones that were good were really good. Like, when this creature dies, make a 3/2. Or give this creature instant speed, like +1/+0, and if it dies, make a 3/2.
Right, and then there's like, you gain 2 life and get 2 spirits.
Right.
And it was just like, so I wasn't really afraid that I was going to get like a bad draft, because there was 2 formats, like 2 blocks that had really good token creation, even if the cards themselves weren't tokens. Like the battle effects of it, or just different spells made tokens in some way. So I wasn't like worried about it. It was just kind of, if it happens, it happens. And it just paid off incredibly well. I think I went 3-1 with it, where the only person who beat me had just a stupid blue-red tempo deck.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually do okay at those like pick your pack kind of things. Usually because I'm the guy who can figure out their seat, right? But I really enjoy, especially once a set becomes really comfortable to me, doing like that, where I pick some card in the first pack or two and just hone in on it. And even if it's less good, it's often more fun.
Yeah.
Because again, if you're like, oh, I did it, it'll be a long time before I forget the sheer joy that I had when I killed somebody in draft with the Lord of the Pit, doing whatever that last set was, right? I can't even think of what that was now. Was it Masters 3 or something? I don't even know. But, it's just, that's such an amazing feeling, especially when you end up winning. Winning the draft off of that record. You're just like, clearly the best card ever, Lord of the Pit. I don't know. I love those kind of things, but what do I know? I'm just a drafter. Just a drafter. Speaking of drafting, we didn't have a draft last week. We had sealed the last. I'm trying to think what set it was actually. I'm over here trying to find my calendar, which apparently is not up on any of these tabs. Is that it? Yes. No. The last Ixalan sealed. Because when the new set comes out, then basically the sealed will become whatever the new set is, and we'll usually try to do one every 6 weeks, give or take. So you usually get to do like 2 sealeds in a rotation. So yeah, that was the last Ixalan, and I really thought my deck was good. like a lot of my rares lined up in my colors, and I had a lot of really powerful cards,
Mm-hmm.
including I think 2 wraths of sorts. Um, so I had like, what's the mass path to exile? I had that. Um,
Settle.
Settle the wreckage. Thank you. Oh no, I don't have it on me. And I ended up playing 17 lands. 17 lands. I lost 4 games in a row due to
I mean, oh no.
mana flood. But not win on, or not lose on turn, 5 or whatever, but lose on turn 15 kind of
Yeah.
situations. And I assume every shop has a Carl. So our friend Carl is an individual who plays Magic on occasion, although now he's starting to step his game back up again. But Carl is known for being salty and sarcastic and just like brutally vicious, honest truth kind of guy, right? So everyone's got a Carl. And I'm playing with Jackie, and I pick up my 5th card. It's a land. I play it down, and I'm like, you know what? F this game. And I put my cards down on the table, right? I played a land every turn, and I'm just like, F this, and put my cards on the table. And I scoop my stuff up. Jackie leaves, and I'm just sitting there with Carl, and I'm trying to decide if I want to even try to play another round. And Carl goes, so I know you don't want to hear this right now, but you really played great Magic. It's just really unfortunate that happened to you twice in a row. Because that's both times that was the game loss or whatever. And I'm like, it wouldn't bother me if it just was one match, but so far it's been every game that's been like that. And I just show the cards. I just open up my cards, and like, it was just like, wow, your pool. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. So instead of playing Magic for the rest of the night, instead helped a 2 new guys came to the shop. One guy bought the Pirate Precon deck, and this other guy had basically this really bad. What's that vintage? Vintage, I think. Yeah, basically, it was a cards. He was a tabletop player, so he had like one of each of the protections of the color cards in his deck. And he had like one card that said whenever one of your creatures die, you gain a life. And he had like 2 breeding pools, and you know what I mean? It was like that deck. He had basically, I don't know, I think 3 of every protection from X colored First Striking Knight.
Oh, okay, okay.
And like all the, like one of each of the angels that have protection from color. And like it was that guy. You know who I'm talking about. There's always that guy when it comes to casual Magic.
Yeah, yeah.
And I walk over. It's like turn 6. The guy's got 6 mana, 2 swamps, protection from protection red, it's protection black, and 2 silver knights, and both of them have unholy strength on them. It took that guy an hour to win that game of Magic against the Precon Pirate deck.
Jesus.
It was absolutely insane. Well, he's like, well, you can't hurt me. Your turn. I'm like, go attack with your First Striking Knights. Like he can't trade. Like just go for it. It's like, rawr. I was crazy. It was really nuts. I don't understand. I'm not real sure. Maybe because a friend of mine also has begun streaming on Wednesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he posted on Facebook when he starts to stream, I'm tagged every time. It says this guy with me, and he's streaming, and I'm just like, but I'm not streaming. I'm recording 2 trolls. Anyhow, I don't know. Sorry, distraction. Anyway, it was a crazy amount of fun to watch these two play, and trying to think what happened. At one point, I told the guy he could probably go for it. He had is it Sarah's avatar that power toughness equals your life total?
Yeah.
And he had, I think, like 15, 20 life at that time or whatever. And his opponent top decked the Planeswalker, negged, killed basically all of the 0/1s from the breeding pool.
Yeah.
But did 1 point of damage to everything. And then played that pirate that says destroy a creature that took damage this turn. And I was like, oh my God, such a beating. And then was able to attack and attacked in for like 16 points of damage or something, knocking him to well into single digit numbers. Right? But of course, at that point in time, the guy had 2 breeding pools and enough mana that he could just take a couple of turns off, just keep his breeding pools running with their upkeep, and just like fog all of his creatures. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I don't know what to do. He eventually had to attack Angrath 2 turns in a row or risk Angrath alting. Like that happened. And Angrath almost alted twice. Like the guy knocked him down to like 3 counters or something. And then the guy was able to plus him all the way up to almost alt again before he's attacked it again. I was insane. It was a crazy game of Magic to watch. But I don't know. Maybe I should play more casual Magic.
I mean, it's definitely one of the more fun things, but at the same time, it can just be so frustrating.
Well, maybe what I do is you build like the commander deck that's just like super casual and just be like, oh, I don't care what's going on. And by super casual guy, I mean like one of each of the circles of protection, 1 story circle, like
build a pillow fort.
Yeah, kind of, except more of like I don't know, maybe it would turn into be a pillow fort type deck. But just something along those lines where it's just like, I have no idea how I'm going to win, but you're never going to beat me.
Right, that's pillow fort.
Yeah. Well, but there's usually a way to win. Maybe the deck has like one. Oh, what is that enchantment that wakes up all your enchantments if you have so many of them?
There is
the Moonlight card.
Well, there's Starfield and Nyx.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
And there's like an older one, Opulence.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe you run a couple of those. I don't know. We'll see.
But then you'd have to make your enchantments hexproof and indestructible.
That's fine.
Or what you could do.
That card is green-white. You can play a green-white commander.
Or you could just have more fun with it and have your only win condition be the Helix Pinnacle.
The Helix Pinnacle.
Well, you don't know what that is?
It doesn't sound familiar.
So it costs a single green mana. It has Shroud. It's an enchantment. And you pay X to put X counters on it. And then when you have 100 counters on the Helix Pinnacle, you win.
Oh, I know that card, actually, now that you say that. Yeah, that could be a thing. Speaking of things that I didn't put on the show notes, I want to keep moving because I want to keep this show a little bit shorter because I got a thing in less than 20 minutes, so I want to get through some stuff. But and kind of like weird homebrewy type things. A friend of mine, another supporter of the show /stream, sent me not really a list, but a video, and I will try to remember to put it on the. In fact, I'll copy it right now and put it in the show notes. But sent me a popper list that is a basically mono green land destruction list. Have you seen this video?
No, but I have seen some mono green LDs.
For popper, I guess this is Popper Ganga. And you can check out his Twitch page at twitch.tv Popper Ganga. I don't know if he's got the deck list anywhere. I don't see it specifically in the thing. But just kind of like looking at it, it's Arbor Elf, Tinder Walls, Utopia Sprawls, Wild Gross, things that accelerate you a little bit. Verdant Emissaries. Viridian Emissaries. Which one's that? That's the... No, that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking that's the guy who blows himself up to blow up an enchantment, but that's not right. You know which one the Viridian Emissary is? I assume it's an untapped guy.
Is he the pro artifact one?
I don't know. I have to... Let me just look. Assuming I can get even close to how to spell it correctly.
VER.
No, I found it. This guy says when it goes into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may search for a land and put it in your. So it's an acceleration card.
The 2/1.
Yeah, it's a 2/1.
Yeah, just whenever I hear Viridian, I think of all the elves from Mirrodin that were like pro artifact.
Yeah. Let's see. He's like covers up the last row. Thermo Karst. I think that's a land destruction spell for green and a colorless.
Yeah.
He has one Stirring Sandstorm. 4 mold. I don't know what that card. It's a red card. It's the only red card in the list. Mold Shamblers, Reap and Sow, Mewanti Acid Moss, Pumra Spider, and Ulamog's Crusher, which of course has Annihilator too.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, yeah, it's accelerate to accelerate to 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 land destruction spells that also can just win the game because one's an Ulamog's Crusher.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of sweet. There's a little popular list. I'll link it.
What was the rarity of Ice Storm?
Of Ice Storm?
Yeah.
Looks like uncommon.
Wow, that's too bad.
Destroys any one land. Yeah. Yeah, it's always was uncommon, never a bride. I don't know. Now that Pillage is getting reprinted at common, I think that's going to be a pickup and transition into my popper list in the sideboard. Right now, I don't have my cards next to me, other than that Auras list. But I don't know. Could be something to explore. LD in popper. You can just
especially red green with Stone Rain, Pillage, Acid Moss. Like that right there, that's 12. And then you just play big things after that.
Well, and Tinderwall can blow itself up for 2 red mana, right?
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, like you can Tinderwall on 1 for a green, and then on 2 you can play one of these 4 mana guys.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, I think it's a thing. It seems pretty sweet. I don't know. Again, my problem with popper is the same thing as the most of these Eternal formats. The card pool is just too big for me to brew. So I have to either take ideas or shells from other people and modify them with this there, etc. Or I have to kind of build from a block of cards that I can wrap my head around. Like
Well,
Frontier or Standard or some modern cards, etc.
I sent you that text, right? About the four color Sahili deck in modern.
Yeah, you sent me just like this random text message like, hey, it made top 8 somewhere.
No, well, it made day 2. Like, it was the last match at the GP on day 1, and it was this random guy I've never seen before. He was playing a four color Sahili deck against Owen Turtenwald, and he just beat him in 3 games by using the Sahili combo. Like, it was crazy because he was playing Bloodbraid Elves, Sahili Rai, the Felidar Guardian, Jace.
So that's like the
Hold on.
newer-ish one. No, he's gonna tell. So basically it's the newish 4-color Sahili list that's out right now. Personally, I haven't really dived into that very deep, but I definitely think that could be a sweet one. The one that I'm looking into right now is more of it is adjusted the mana base away from a little less into the blue, but it runs one of my favorite cards that I can't think of the name of, that 1/1 snake for a blue and a colorless. You basically like flip the top card. If it's a land, you put it in play. Otherwise,
Yeah, the Coiling Oracle.
Yeah, Coiling Oracle. I was some sort of Oracle. Like
Yeah, that was in the deck too.
I'm assuming it is.
Yeah.
The version that I was looking at is less blue focused. That it doesn't run the Jaces, but a lot of the same cards are in play there. So I'm looking at an updated list myself for that. I like the idea of some amount of the 3/2 Haster Cascade. Literally just thought of it, and now I can't think of it again.
Bloodbraid Elf.
That one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not real sure what's going on, but the version I have it all put together except for a sideboard. It's a little bit older version, and I was going to sit down and play a Winnabox last week with it, but my migraine was flaring up real bad, and I went, and Jackie was there, so I didn't have to stick around and judge. So I was just like, if I don't play, can you judge this tournament? And I don't have to worry about it. And I just went home and laid down for an hour before starting that night stream. But yeah, I think there's a deck there. I think it's probably up my alley. I mean, I have over a year practice playing it for the standard version, so I can probably figure out how to play it in modern reasonably well. I mean, how much better could it be to crack a fetch land, play a Bloodblade, cascade into a Sahili, down tick the Sahili, copying the Bloodbraid, cascade into...
It doesn't work that way.
Isn't it 3?
Yeah, but Cascade is cast. You only get the Cascade off the cost.
Well, in that case, you break a fetch land, you play a Bloodbraid Elf, cascade into the 3/2. That if it has Revolt, you buy back a thing that costs 2 or less.
Okay.
Grab a Coiling Oracle out of your graveyard, put it into play, flip over another land. Right?
Oh.
Like, if Travis is laughing at me because I live in a magical Christmas land, then you know that it's good.
Yeah, because like I love to live there. It was like, look at all these possibilities that could happen. And you're like, no, that's stupid. And then I just hear you go on this tangent of, all right, well maybe I just crack one land and then I play this 4-drop and get 17 things back and we'll call it even.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the dream. And then you copy it. Okay, so that's what you do. You cascade into the 3/2. The 3/2 buybacks the snake. You copy a snake or the 3/2, right? Buy back another snake, get another land, crack those, get the lands you need to play your cat, and then combo. I'm making a motion with my hands. People just listening can't see it.
I believe that's the tap all in combo. motion. Is that...
Woo, something like that. I don't know. I like the idea. I don't know if the deck is right for my modern environment, but I'm pretty sure I can tune it for, let's see. The big decks in our tournaments area scene now are one person has managed to beg, borrow, and steal enough to play Lantern Control. So you got to be able to stop that.
Is that Jackie?
Yeah. Which basically, in my opinion, just means somewhere in the 75, I have some number of the harsh mentors. I think would basically win that game. So you can't stop everything, even if you mill it. Eventually, I'll be able to crack a fetch land and buy it back, or cascade into it, or something. There's just so many things in that deck that kind of gets around it. Then you have the one scape shift player who's like doing stuff. So basically, I can get around those two things and then figure out a way to beat Remington. Then I'm golden.
What's Remington have?
He's still on that mono green.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Speaking of, actually, a quick ad for the arena here. Coming up in April 8th, which is what, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, somewhere in that ballpark, a couple of weeks away. I need to actually get a flyer up this weekend. We're having our first Team Unified Modern event at the arena. So give us a call if you'd like to play in your nearby to get to the arena on Sunday. We're going to start at noon. It's got an entry fee of $20. But I don't know. I'm really hoping that people are going to really enjoy team events in general. I love team events. I'm a big fan of Two-Headed Giant in particular. I think that's it's a much easier tournament structure to happen. But for whatever reason, people like Modern so much more than anything else. They've taken off with this team unified thing instead of why not a unified Two-Headed Giant? I don't understand. You can have that be Modern. I don't care. But instead, they want to tie up a whole table. But yeah, it's fine. But we have one of those coming up in a couple of weeks, and that'll be really exciting. What else do we have in the show notes? We have an email, and we have Arena drops the NDA. Magic Arena drops the NDA as tomorrow, according as the time of the recording. So it may already be up by the time I get the podcast up. I'm trying to decide if it's too late to get a copy now and be able to be one of the first couple dozen guys to be streaming the Magic Arena at any kind of semi-competitive level.
It is.
It's too late. But yeah, well, hopefully I'll be able to pick that up and start streaming that once a week or something.
If they let you buy singles, I haven't been keeping up with it that much, but there was a point where it's no singles, you have to buy all the packs. And then that turned off a lot of people because it's
that was the other one. Right? I don't think the arena is supposed to be that way. I don't know how the arena is set up, to be honest, and I don't think most people can talk about it yet because they're all still under the NDA. But I think I read that they were going to give everyone who signed up basically the entirety of the Amonkhet block to start with. I don't know. He just threw his hands in the air. I have no idea. What was that? Was that a yes? Or did I cut you off at the knees?
I have no clue, but if you already signed up, why not just give them all of standard?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Amonkhet block, okay, great. You still got Kaladesh, you still got Ixalan.
Well, and I'm sure there'll probably be a tutorial process, not unlike what was it, whatever the other one was called, where as you play, you end up picking up a bunch of stuff, and I don't know. I imagine it'll be a lot like Hearthstone and Eternal and those kind of games where they'll just throw cards at you. If they don't, although it's Wizards, so God only knows what they'll do. They're bad at doing things digitally.
Yeah, they are.
They're bad at most things other than designing magic cards. Unless you're in the market for a 6/6 with trample for 6, in which case they nailed that one.
What's the email?
The email is from Dan something or other. I don't have that up right now. You should consider Deeproot Champion. He gets buffed from everything that's not a creature, and green still has access to 6 Sense, which lets you draw a card when enchanted creature deals damage. Double striking cats work well with it. Also, you've got Blossoming Defense and Heroic Intervention. Add Sheltering Lights, and it seems good. Question mark? I've been trying to make Deeproot Champion work, but I don't know if I'm close enough to a working shell. I'll work on it this week, and if I have something I think that's polished enough to publish, I will throw a deck list in with the show notes. It's one of the colors I definitely think could easily go into a standard-esque Boggles deck. The problem is that you 100%, at least I'm relatively sure, the more I think about it, the more I play the deck, that you want the pirate that gets hexproof when you're king of the city. I'm pretty sure you 100% want that card, which makes it really difficult to both play Shram and Deeproot Champion and that guy. I'm not sure if the mana is really there for Bant in a low to the ground aggro deck. You have a thought on that particular conundrum, Travis?
I mean, if we're going low to the ground aggro, then yeah, well, I don't know.
That's basically what that, in my opinion, what that Aura's deck was. Like you could get to a point where you can like catch up and combo off, but really when you're playing a 1/1 life linker on 1, and you're playing a 1/1 pay 4 life indestructible on 2, like those are things that are definitely put you in a low to the ground esque aggro deck.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. Again, Deeproot Champion could be really good. It might be good enough to move over. And I do like the idea of Blossoming Defense and Heroic Intervention. But I'm hoping that just Sheltering Light and, maybe a couple other things here or there will be good enough to take care of it. As we read through the Dominaria stuff and we start to see official spoilers and we look at the cards, there might just be some stuff that doesn't matter. And these new Saga enchantments could be really sweet. I don't think they're auras, though. In particular, I think they're all just regular enchantments, so it's not like we're going to get extra value out of Shram. But there might be something in here. I haven't read through it all yet that makes it different. Plus, we get Charge. Charge. 1 mana instant. Creature you control get +1/+1 on a turn. Good enough. Good enough for me, sir. So, yeah, that's it. The only other thing I want to mention is please check us out on youtube.com/SamusGarobo. Give this video a like, follow over there, etc., etc. If we can get enough views, I can become a YouTube partner, and then I get the dollars from the ads that you see. I realize it's not very many dollars, but it's some dollars. Patreon should be up and running in the next couple of days. You can send us an email, number 2trollsbrew@gmail.com. Of course, you can always check us out on twitch.tv/SamusGarobo or twitter.com/turtlepower319 or, again, twitter.com/SamusGarobo. Hey, Travis, that's a wrap, buddy. I got to go watch The Magicians.
Okay, bye.
Hot chicks wiggling their hands, casting magic spells. Also, Marvel Forever.
Yeah, I watched Doctor Strange last night, so I know all about the things with the waving and troll on, everybody.
Troll on, everybody.